But here we are in the rain, and you've seen the magnitude of what fascism, what Nazis, what people could do to a group of people that they decided no longer are worthy of life. And that's really what it was. I mean, it happened to be that it was the Jews, among other people that they hated, but the Jews were definitely focal. So we have this sense right now that here we are at the end corridor of a gas chamber and a crematorium. Many of us who've lost someone in the camps, and many of us who lost people, that this is a place that at least we can try to remember those that we have lost. With some words, with some thought. I know Jane has a list of names, and she has people that she wanted to just express. Want to do that?
My father's family was deported to Auschwitz. Not sure exactly where my dad was living. I have a feeling it might have been in Auschwitz too, based on the time and what he's described to me. They came from a town called Kastoria in the north of Greece, which had 991 Jews. And after the war, there were, I think, 35 who lived, maybe 32, something like this. So it was about 3%. And he and his sister and my aunt were among those people. So he asked me to read the names of our family who perished here, which are these following names. Allegra Elias, my grandmother. Moshe Elias, my uncle. Sally Elias, my aunt. Solika Elias, my great-grandmother. Benjamin Confino, my great-grandfather. Leah Confino, my great-grandmother. Eliezer Elias, my great-uncle. Marco Elias, my cousin. Jana Confino, my great-aunt. Lilian Confino, my cousin. Jana Elias Alcalai, my cousin. Matilda Elias, my great-aunt. Bachora Chazan, my great-great-grandmother. And I also wanted to mention the other members of our family who arrived here at the same time in Auschwitz, but after they were evacuated elsewhere, died later in the war, either at Bergen-Belsen or in another camp. My grandfather, Caleb Chaim Elias, my uncle, Vital Elias, my cousin, Moshe Elias, my great-uncle, Vital Confino, my great-uncle, Peppo Confino, my great-uncle, Jacob Chaim Elias, and my cousin, Benjamin Vital Confino.
And that's one person. And that's one person. And it's not Ashkenazic names, by the way. It's not just Ashkenazic names. So we have this moment here. This is something that we start to think about it, what I said about in the shoes, when I said here, when we list the names and we remember the names, and that's what we do. We do Yorkshire. We remember. We remember places that we have to remember. I asked Robert to just give us a few minutes.
As we walk on this ground, such holy ground, such holy spots, each spot is filled with such tears of people that have reached the highest level of soul can reach. The level of Mesiras Nefesh, the level of giving away our life and our soul for God in heaven. You know, on Yom Kippur, on the holiest day of the year, there's one moment, and that is the moment at the end of Ne'ilah, when we say Hashem Elokim, when we say Shema, that at that moment our soul is connected to that very spiritual level of Yechidah, the highest level our soul can reach. This ground that we stand on is ground where every single Jew didn't only think about that idea, didn't only live for it, but ultimately died for it. You know, I used to have a survivor, a neighbor of mine, when I grew up in New York, and I once asked him, I said, tell me, Mr. Berkowitz, what was it that kept you going? What was it that kept you going from day to day? What did you think about before you went to sleep? And he always gave me the same answer, words that I will never forget. He told me, what kept me going was because I thought to myself, maybe one day I'll be able to help another human being. Maybe one day I'll be able to do another mitzvah. Maybe one day I'll be able to do another good deed. And you know, I was young at the time, I never really thought about it. Then when I got older, I realized these were people suffering things that we can never even imagine or understand. They didn't think about themselves. He wasn't thinking about his own pleasure, his own life. He was thinking, maybe one day I can help another person. So as I walk down here, I think about each person, how much good not only has he done in his life, but how much good he could have done today, how much good could have came out of him. How many mitzvos, how many good deeds, how many good spiritual energies he could have brought into this world. So I'd like to suggest that each one of us, as we stand here today, let's not only never forget these souls, never forget these people, but let us remember them by doing something special in their honor. If each one of us, within our own selves, can find one mitzvah, one good deed that these people would have done, that these holy souls would have lived for today, and take it upon ourselves to do in their memory, surely they would be honored, and surely they would thank us for that. Thank you.
Thank you. For those who would like to join Jane, myself, and Lee in offering the Kaddish, for those that you might have in mind right now for yourself, who may have perished here, for the names that you saw on the suitcases that you might want to think about, for the shoes that you saw, or for the hair that you saw, or for the gas chamber that we just walked in and walked out of. Please feel free to join us in the Kaddish.
Yamad Ibrahim Tevi Amlich Malchutei Bechayechon V'yomechon V'chayei Nechal Beit Yisrael Hagala B'zman Karim V'imru Amen Yehi Shmei Rabba Mebracha Olam Oleno Mayam Yisbarach V'yishtabach V'yifar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yitchada V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei V'yikisha V'yiruchu Elah min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiram b'alma v'imru amen. Yishmar Rabba Mishmaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imrama v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
And as we leave this gas chamber, and we leave this place, I mean to come back tomorrow to join with 10,000 young people to walk through these corridors and to walk through this again and to say, never again.
Yeah.
Never
Can I
again.
sing a quick song?
Absolutely.
Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am
Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Oh.